Hi everyone! So I wanted to give you a recipe for homemade fondant. A lot of people that use fondant think it looks amazing on the cakes and then they go to taste it and they're like, ew, it tastes terrible. Or they want to use it on their cakes and they go and out to purchase it and they're like, wow, that's too expensive. There's no way I'm going to be able to afford a ton of fondant for that price. So I'm going to give you a recipe that I had taken right off the Wilton website and tell you how I've used it, and I've had really good feedback, and it's really cheap to make too. So then you can mold it into anything you want. It's amazing, and it tastes amazing too. So the ingredients that you're going to need is some mini jet puffed marshmallows, just one bag, and you're going to need one bag of confectioner's sugar and 1 tablespoon of water, and flavoring. If you want to add flavoring to your fondant, even though it tastes good by itself, I use coconut and almond extract. And then you want to use vegetable shortening. So those are your very simple, very cheap ingredients you get right out of the grocery store, and that's all you need to do. That's all you need in order to make this marshmallow fondant. So what you want to do is you want to put that bag of marshmallows in a microwavable safe container along with that 1 tablespoon of water. Doesn't matter if it's cold or hot, just 1 tablespoon of water. Put that in the microwave for 1 minute. When you take it out, mix it up, and then put it back in the microwave for 30-second intervals until all of that marshmallow mixture is completely melted. And you don't want to go too far to the point where it is brown. If it's brown, it's burnt and it's not going to work at all. So after that, then you're going to add in your flavoring, which I use coconut, 1 tablespoon coconut extract, 1 tablespoon of almond extract. I think it tastes really good. I've had really good feedback with that. I have not tried any other type of extracts yet in there. What you want to use is clear extract. I'm sure if you use colored extract, it's fine. It's just that's the color your fondant's going to be. So if you want, anything other than natural pure white or other natural pure colors, then you don't want to use clear, or you do want to use clear. So anyways, so you add in confectioner's sugar, 3/4 of the bag, and you don't add it in all at once. You add it in a little at a time, and then you take your spatula and you fold that mixture. So what folding means, if you don't know what folding means, it means taking your spatula and grabbing the mixture from the bottom of the bowl and pulling it to the top, just like if you were going to fold something. So that's exactly what you're doing. You're adding in a little bit of confectioner's sugar all the way till you're up to about 3/4 of a bag in that container. You keep folding it and folding it and folding it. And then what you want to do is you want to cover your surface and your hands full of that vegetable shortening. Whatever surface you're going to work on, it's going to be full of that vegetable shortening, and your hands too. And this might be gross at first, but you will understand after you dump that mixture onto the surface while you're doing that. So then what you want to do is that it's going to be basically scraping that mixture, because it's really sticky, onto that surface. So once you have it on the surface, you add in what I do is I add a little bit of that 1/4 bag left of confectioner's sugar. I add a little bit at a time, and you continue to fold just like you did in the bowl, except you're using your hands on that surface. So I usually just use my counter. So once that mixture starts sticking to your hands or the surface that you're working on, you immediately add in more vegetable shortening, because you don't want that to stick at all. You want it to be very workable. So you keep doing that. You keep folding and you keep turning it and you keep adding in until all that confectioner's sugar is gone. Once that is gone, if your mixture is still pretty sticky, I would add a little bit more confectioner's sugar. I've never had that problem yet, but if it happens, then that's what you can do to make sure that that's not as sticky. And then also, when you are finished with the fondant, when you are happy with it, what should happen with that fondant is when you pull on it, it shouldn't just break apart. If it just breaks apart, you have added too much confectioner sugar. The easiest way to fix that is just add a tiny, tiny bit of water, like a teaspoon, until you're happy with the mixture. And what you want that mixture to be like when you are done with this whole process is when you're pulling on it, you want it to you want it to stretch. So you want it to stretch well. After you are satisfied with that mixture, you can add color to it if you want. What I do is I wait, because what you're supposed to do is when you are satisfied with that mixture, you cover the whole thing in vegetable shortening. You just, you're not folding the vegetable shortening in, you're just rubbing it all over that ball of fondant all the way around, and then you're going to cover it with plastic wrap and several layers of plastic wrap. And I put mine, after the plastic wrap, in a Ziploc bag. I remove all the air from it and put it in the refrigerator for 24 hours. That's the best time, the amount of time for you to leave it in the refrigerator, and it's going to work the best if you do that. I ran out of fondant, and so when I was making my daughter's cake, and I just quickly made some up, did not let it sit for 24 hours, and I'm telling you, it was hard to work with. So you want to make sure you have enough time, and make sure that you make enough. It's going to make quite a bit of fondant, so you're going to get quite a bit of fondant. I think like almost, I want to say 2 pounds worth out of just that amount of ingredients. So once you have it in the refrigerator for 24 hours, you pull it out, and that's when I start adding in the color. If I want, then I also, portion it up. If I have like 4 or 5 different colors I want to use, I'm just going to pre-portion all that out. And then you should be able to work very well with it. And after you have had it in the refrigerator and you're working with it on your surface, if it starts sticking to your surface, you're going to do exactly what you would do with dough when you're making bread. You're just going to sprinkle a little bit of powdered sugar and roll that fondant into it, and it's not going to be sticking at all. It's going to be very workable, very pliable. So you mold it into whatever you want. I made lollipops, I made ice cream cones with it. I made a ton of different ideas. So if you want to see how I made mine and what mine looked like, you can visit my Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Jessica Bennett 1986. So I'll have a link for that too if you want to go on my Facebook page and see how that all turned out, because this was, I think it was last weekend. Yeah, last weekend is when I made all this stuff. So go ahead, check it out. Message me if you have any questions about my experience with it, or if you're having problems with it or problems with the instructions. So thank you for listening, and I hope that I have helped you make homemade marshmallow fondant.